in pursuit of health and wisdom. Sapio with Buck Joffrey.
Hey, it's Buck Joffrey here from Sapio. You know, even though I'm really interested in the science of longevity and increasing health span and all that, I'm hardly on the extreme side of what you would call the biohacker world. That said, I've been monitoring a number of variables in my own health as part of what I call Medicine 3.0. That's taking medicine into your own hands. I do continuous glucose monitoring sometimes, and I wear an Oura ring. That's one of these to get constant feedback. I actually got my Oura ring mostly to monitor my sleep. And while my sleep isn't terrible, I tend to get enough REM most nights, but could do better on my non-REM deep sleep. Nothing alarming though. But my heart rate variability scores, also known as HRV, have been pretty awful and kind of alarming, frankly. So here's a look at my HRV over the last week. It's averaging about 20. Now, for a healthy guy my age, that HRV should probably be more 2 to 3 times that. So I am essentially, kind of a loser when it comes to HRV, and I probably need to do something to improve it. Okay, let's back up. What is heart rate variability anyway, and why should I care if I've got kind of a loser HRV? Heart rate variability is not your heart rate. It's the time difference between each heartbeat. You see, your heart doesn't beat in a perfect rhythm like a metronome. It might speed up a little when you're excited or slow down when you're calm. And that change in time between the beats is what HRV measures. And why is this important? Well, you see, HRV is a sign of how well your body responds to stress or rest. When your HRV is high, that means there's a lot of variation in your heartbeat. And that's generally a good thing. It shows that your body's good at adapting to different situations. If your HRV is low, it means your heartbeats are more regular, like a ticking clock, and there's less variation. Now, this could mean that your body's stressed, tired, or not recovering well from things like exercise or illness. So let's drill down on why that is a little bit in case you'd like to get more into the scientific stuff. You may recall from high school biology that there is something called the autonomic nervous system. This is the stuff that happens automatically, like the heartbeats, digestion, that kind of thing. And there are two competing parts of this system. There is the sympathetic nervous system, and this is the part of the autonomic nervous system that prepares your body for action. So the fight or flight response. When the sympathetic nervous system is activated, it speeds up your heart and reduces HRV. The other part of that autonomic nervous system is the parasympathetic nervous system. This is like the calming or rest and digest part of the autonomic nervous system. And when the parasympathetic nervous system is activated, it slows down your heart rate and increases your HRV. So HRV is a measure of the balance between these two systems. High HRV typically indicates a healthy balance and a good adaptability to stress. In contrast, a low HRV score might indicate that your sympathetic nervous system is too active, which can happen from chronic stress, poor sleep, health problems. Pretty much describes most of us, right? So if you're walking around stressed all the time, you're probably going to be in more of a fight or flight mode and your HRV will be lower. Why do we even care? Well, so one, lower HRV has been linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular diseases, including heart attacks and strokes. Low HRV has also been associated with psychological stress and mental health conditions, including anxiety and depression. Some studies have found that lower HRV is associated with higher overall mortality. In other words, people with lower HRV could potentially have a shorter lifespan. Chronic diseases too. Lower HRV can also be a sign of chronic inflammatory diseases. In the realm of physical training and athletics, low HRV can suggest poor recovery from workouts and a higher risk of overtraining or injury. So bottom line is, it's probably a pretty good idea to keep an eye on your HRV. But why watch it if you aren't even going to be able to change it, right? That might stress you out even more and make your HRV even lower. The good news is, theoretically, you can increase your HRV, and in order to do so, you just need to get out of that fight or flight state and into the rest and digest mode. Scientifically, that means getting your parasympathetic nervous system going, and that's going to be through your vagus nerve. Now, there's lots of ways to potentially do this, and you might want to play around with them if your HRV is low. All of them work ultimately by stimulating the vagus nerve. 1, deep and slow breathing techniques. 2, yoga and meditation. There's singing and chanting. These activities can stimulate the muscles in the back of the throat that are connected to the vagus nerve. Cold exposure is another one. Brief exposure to cold, like cold showers or splashing cold water on your face can stimulate the vagus nerve. And laughter. Watch some comedy in the evening. That might help, and that might be an easy thing to do. A friend of mine swears that watching old clips of Don Rickles at night makes him sleep better. And of course, that also probably tells you how old he is. Anyway, I'm sure there are more, but if you want to try to increase your HRV, give some of these a shot and let me know how it goes. That's it for me on this mini episode of Sapio with Buck Joffrey. I'm Buck Joffrey. If you like what I'm doing here, make sure you like, subscribe, and share.